From the ages of 8 to 15, I lived in a household that would be considered a domestically violent household. Some people know this about me. I talk about it plenty. It's not something I hide, because I do believe that when you share honestly and share of yourself and share your stories, you can help heal others. And, living in that kind of a household, even though it was a beautiful home, and on the surface of things, it was a gorgeous home. It was a huge home. It was an upper class home even. But inside, it was not a happy place. And I didn't know it at the time. But I've come to learn that our environment, particularly our homes, are like another body. Like, we're walking around in this human physical body. And then there's this next layer, and that is the home body. And we have a symbiotic relationship with this. I unconsciously understood this once I got myself out of that house. I ended up going to boarding school for high school. And shout out to all my Williston peeps. And that literally, saved my life, really, getting to go to boarding school. And it definitely was my choice. Thankfully, I enrolled my parents who had the legal control at the time. And getting there was amazing, because it was one of the first times that I had autonomy over my environment. Meaning, I had my own dorm room. I got to decorate it the way I wanted. I got to really live into this space and create it in a way that was going to be empowering for who I was at the time, right? And again, this wasn't a conscious thing back when I was 15 years old. However, as time went on and life went on, I have become a student for many decades now. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a quarter of a century, frankly, that I have been consciously studying metaphysics, the healing arts, energetics, and I did deeply study the art of feng shui for a long time. And that's when I consciously learned that our environment has a massive effect on how our lives turn out. They have a huge effect also on the energy that we have day in and day out. And they can create wonderful things in our lives, and our homes can also deplete us. So for instance, if you're sitting around and you're dealing with a lot of clutter right now, how many of you are dealing with some clutter? You can admit it. It's all cool. This is a safe environment here. These are our virtual love mojo circles. So consider, though, if you don't feel empowered in your environment, if you're dealing with clutter, if you don't love the space that you're in, just consciously take a moment right now and notice how that makes you feel. Like, where does your energy level go when you start to tune into how you feel about your environment? So that's an important thing to take note of. Now, you don't have to transform it in 5 seconds today. It's something you're going to want to pay attention to, though. Now, here's the deal. All know I talk about Mojo. Mojo being life force, Mojo being your personal magnetism, Mojo being literally the stuff that people feel from you before you ever open your mouth. Your home and your environments also have their own mojo. Now, again, your mojo and your home's mojo are having a symbiotic relationship. So when you shift one of them, the other will shift. And here's the cool thing about that. When you shift the energy in your environment, when you consciously love it up, when you consciously make some simple adjustments to it, your energy will shift accordingly. Now, in the work that I do, there's a 4-pillar system of Mojo. And the 4th pillar, the final O of Mojo, I call Oasis, because that's all about your environment. And today I want to share with you just something very simple that I do every single day, morning and night. And hopefully this will help you and you can try it out, because as I sit here and share this with you, I do believe like we're having this relationship with our environment, consciously or unconsciously. And today, during this Mojo moment, is your invitation to consciously have a relationship with your environment. Sound good? Okay. So what I do every single morning I do what I call a opening up of the home, right? An opening up of the home, meaning I walk around, I open all the shades, I start to let light in. If it's weather appropriate, I will be opening up windows to let the house breathe as well. Think about it like when you wake up, right? It's like you start to adjust to the light, and you want to let your home begin to open up to the daylight. You want it to breathe just like you breathe, and maybe you go exercise in the morning or take a walk. Well, you want your environment to breathe as well. So I walk around and I open all the shades, open the windows if it's weather appropriate, right? And I literally say good morning to the house. Like I talk to the house. That might sound weird. That might sound woo-woo, but you know what? It's not going to hurt anybody. So it's worth a try. Right, so I say good morning to the house. And then at the end of the day, more at sunset time, or, when the sun basically it goes down if it's dark, then I do the process of what I call closing down the house. It's like tucking your kids into bed. So I go back around, close the window shades, close the coverings, right? And if there's any windows that need to be closed at that time, I'll close those too. And it's a beautiful, very simple, isn't this simple? It's pretty simple, right? So it's an incredibly simple ritual that you can do day in and day out to begin to have a conscious relationship with your environment. And if it sounds silly to you, I invite you, like from my heart, from my power center down lower, which our power center is the home of our mojo in our bodies, right? It's between your belly button and above your pubic bone. So from my heart and my power center, I invite you to do this simple ritual for 3 days in a row. 3 days, like you can do it for 3 days and see how you feel. See what you notice. Notice if you have a different sense of calm or ease. Notice if you begin to have more of an ownership about your space. Notice that maybe you're motivated to clean up something that might be in a little bit of a cluttery mess. Notice if it perks you up in any way. I have a feeling it will perk you up. So, and then of course you can keep doing it all the time. The other thing that is really important, and I hear a lot of entrepreneurs talk about this, and I think it's pretty cool that's it infiltrated into the entrepreneurial world. It's something that has been in the world of environment and feng shui experts for, decades and decades and decades at this point. And the next thing is to always make your bed, right? So every day you can open up your home, make your bed, and then at the end of the day, close the home up again, right? And the making of your bed is so that first thing, you actually accomplish something. And that's one area that is now orderly. You've taken pride in something in yourself and your life. And in an energetic standpoint, there's a theory of relative positioning, which says that everything that's closest to you has a greater effect on your life. And therefore, the bed is the closest thing to you. And when you pay attention to it and you make it every morning, you will start to feel a shift in your life as well. So if you're willing to take that on, let me know, leave a comment, and certainly let me know how it's going once you do it. And if this interests you, by the way, I want to also let you know, which I'll put in a comment for you below, I want to invite you to a completely complimentary webinar that I'm hosting this week. And it is all about the new year that we're coming into. We're about to walk into a lunar new year, which I believe is really the new year because it's energetically the new year. And if you thought this was a good, empowering, useful tip that you would like to put into use in your life, there's going to be a lot more of that on this particular webinar. So definitely join me for that. If you are not able to make it live, we will have the replay up for a short amount of time. So definitely register yourself for it if it does interest you, because you'll be able to get access to it even after the live event of it happening. All right, so sending you so much love as always. And for those of you just tuning in, just know, Deborah Kagan here, your Mojo Recovery Specialist. This is this new experiment that I've got going on, and I'm calling it Live 365. It is a Mojo moment every day this year. So if you found it useful, if you're digging it, tag your friends below, share it to whatever pages or groups that you're in if you think it can benefit people. And I'm so excited you're here on the journey with me. I love you lots, and not in a weird way, in the best kind of way. Bye for now.